Let's talk about Nazis. They're tall, evil men with one purpose in life: to kill Jews and establish fascism all over the world. They work for the Third Reich, a well-oiled machine that was meticulously planned from day one, right? But what if I told you this was wrong? Because it is. Sort of. Many historians believe that fascist Germany wasn't nearly as well planned as most think. The reason we believe this is propaganda. The definition of propaganda is as followed: information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Propaganda was very important to Adolf Hitler. Take this quote from him, for example. "By the skillful and sustained use of propaganda, one can make a people see even heaven as hell, or an extremely wretched life as paradise." In the end, it's one of the reasons they so easily accomplished all the terrible things they did. I'm sure you have more questions, such as how did the German population let this happen? But before I can give you an answer, we need to look at 1930s Germany. In the 1930s, Germany wasn't doing so hot. As you all know, the 1930s was when the Great Depression started, and it hit Germany very hard. Germany was fresh out of World War I, and the Treaty of Versailles weighed heavy on their budget. The treaty stated Germany owed the Allied powers money for reparations. Germany was running out of money very quickly, so what was their solution? Print more. For those of you unfamiliar with how money works, you can't just print more money when you start running out. This newly printed paper money is absolutely worthless, because there's nothing of value to back it up. This caused inflation, and poverty spread like wildfire in Germany. That's why people turned so quickly to the Nazis when they began. They thought it was their last hope for a better future. Propaganda also helped fuel the fire. Let's take a look at some of the Nazis' favorite themes to use in their propaganda. To the German people, Hitler was a blessing. He was the hope they'd been looking for, so naturally, propaganda of him appeals to this. In most propaganda of Hitler, he is either shown as a hero, waving the flag and saving the day, or standing tall with authoritative body language. Take a look at this poster of Hitler. Notice the halo of light surrounding him, the bird above him that almost looks like wings, like an angel, the flag, which meant this is obviously a battle he's won, and the immense crowd of people behind him. The Nazis wanted to push the idea that this man was their salvation, and the German people ate it up. They made him into a savior, a messiah of Germany. So it's no surprise that when he began spewing hate, they listened to that too. The Nazis made it clear who they did not like, people who from here on will be called undesirables. Undesirables were Jews, obviously, gypsies, communists, homosexuals, and anyone else the Nazis decided they didn't like. The Jews were particularly targeted. The Nazis portrayed them as greedy, degenerate people and made them scapegoats for Germany's problems. Look at this poster. The figure is a blatant caricature of a Jewish person, and his hand is full of gold pieces, another offensive stereotype. Under one arm, he has Germany with the communist symbol painted on it. This poster equated Jews with communists, something very hated in Germany. Now take a look at this poster. A man stands behind the Allied flags, and we can tell he is a Jew because of his stereotypical facial features and Star of David belt. This poster equated Jews with German enemies and made them responsible for the war. They forced the idea that the Jews were evil communists that were to be blamed for World War II, and the worst part is that it worked. The film The Eternal Jew was made by the Nazis and presented as a documentary. It even had its own museum exhibits, all completely based on stereotypes and falsehoods. In the movie, they combined actual footage of a Polish ghetto with offensive actor portrayal of Jews. I originally wanted to include a clip in this video, but I was so thoroughly disgusted by the blatant anti-Semitism, I couldn't watch it. They compare the Jews to parasites, calling them barbarians that have infiltrated civilized European culture, calling staged footage of Jews in vermin-infested places them being in their natural state. At one point they compare the Jews to rats, calling them the vermin of the human race. It's horrifying. Though I have to say, I think the most horrifying part about the entire movie was that people believed it. While the undesirables were being ostracized, the rest of the German population was being put on a pedestal. Propaganda of Aryans portrayed them as beautiful, blue-eyed, blonde-haired German people who contributed all they could to the war effort. They were portrayed as strong, healthy people, a, quote, superior race, and the propaganda made the German population feel as if all those different to them were inferior. Especially when the Golden Aryans were shown in contrast with the Jews, who were considered less than vermin. That's not to say everyone considered Aryan agreed with the Nazis, but if they didn't, they kept quiet about it. All of this was happening at once. Hitler being idolized, undesirables being isolated, Aryans being uplifted, and together it created a sickening recipe. While the undesirables were oppressed, abused, killed, the rest of Germany turned a blind eye, too desensitized and full of hatred to care. And Hitler watched as his intelligent, appalling propaganda worked its magic. This is why we, as a general people, cannot be so easily persuaded into hatred and bigotry. Because if you allow it, history will repeat itself.